Hello, everybody. How are we doing today? Welcome to another episode of the Robbie Basel Show. Today is November 17th, 2023. Hope your day is going well, or if you're watching this the day afterwards, once again, hope your day is going well. Hope everything is going the way it should for you guys who watch these videos. Shout out to all of you guys who do watch the videos. It's great because I literally remember yesterday I was talking to one of my friends. They're like, "Oh yeah, we all like my friends and I or my parents watch the videos." I'm like, "That's so cool," and it's just I love when people talk to me about that. But besides the fact, today we were supposed to start originally because I mentioned this last time about MLB free agency. But due to the chaos in international soccer over the last 48 hours, I can't do it yet. So it's going to be delayed again. To when? No idea. And first of all, Africa is buzzing. And we're going to start there. So the order of today's show is going to be quick updates for some of the biggest results in World Cup qualification or Euros qualifying. So we're also touching on that, as well as the USA because they played yesterday. And I have a lot of thoughts on that, as well as some NFL games, including what can we expect from the Ravens and the Bengals after they both lost star players yesterday, as well as the F1 race in Las Vegas because it's not off to a hot start. But let's go back to Africa, and Africa is off to a great start. We started on Wednesday. The weirdest result was Equatorial Guinea struggling against Namibia, but that was just a prelude to what to expect for this World Cup qualifying. We opened yesterday with Lesotho just drawing Nigeria, a Nigeria team that always finds a way to struggle in the beginning of one of these qualifying windows. Just went down at home to Lesotho, a team ranked in like 157th in the world. What? This is not supposed to happen. Also in this group, everyone's drawn other than Benin and South Africa who play tomorrow. This is ridiculous. How does this happen? I get there without Osimhen. Is he that big of a focus on this team? I'm so perplexed. I really am perplexed. How the heck can Nigeria draw Lesotho? African soccer is amazing, especially in Nigeria. If this was in Lesotho, I'm like, okay, kind of get it. What? That by the way, that's when I knew yesterday was going to be nuts. We continue the weirdness with Angola just drawing Cape Verde, Egypt beating Djibouti 6-0, and Gabon struggling against Kenya before getting a late winner. Sudan and Togo drew, and then we lead into today we started it off with Eswatini losing to Libya 1-0. Libya getting all 3 points, and then Comoros, a country you've probably never heard of before in your life because you actually can't find them on a map. Like if you have like this giant map, okay, it's like the most impossible country to see. It's like those scattered islands around Madagascar, like to the northeast of I think it's just to the east of Madagascar. Beat the Central African Republic 4-2, a Central African Republic team I was hyping up. Also a team that was hyping up, the Gambia, lost to Burundi. Not off to a hot start for those boys, but back to this. Hello? I mean, Comoros. And the 2 goals for the Central African Republic, to make this even weirder, were both own goals. I've never seen this before. Like, Central African Republic got an own goal, led 1-0, concede 4 in a row to open play, and then get another own goal to make it 4-2. That's insane. I've never seen that before. Like, just two own goals, but 2, those being your only goals of the match, and you concede 4, never really see that. We also had another one, Ghana, struggle against Madagascar. They needed a 96th minute winner to beat Madagascar at home. A Madagascar team that's not very good. And they score with Inaki Williams in the 96th minute. The last kick of the game, essentially. gives the Black Stars all 3 points. They're in third, by the way, because Mali beat Chad by a score of 3-1. And of course, we have the result with Comoros, who lead the group, tied for first, but lead on goal difference and goals scored after that, like we mentioned a moment ago, after they beat the Central African Republic 4-2. Other results today: Ivory Coast did Ivory Coast things and beat the Seychelles 9-0. That is the biggest result in a qualifying match in this window so far. Or really, I think since September, I haven't seen a result like that crazy. Unless I'm missing something with like San Marino, that's probably the most lopsided result, possibly even of the year. I mean, that's not very impressive. Tunisia got 3 points against Sao Tome and Principe. Cameroon struggling in the first half against Mauritius before grabbing all 3 points. Malawi grabbing a big 3 points against Liberia, a Malawi team that is legit. They have beaten Tunisia. They've played well against a team like a Mali. So I don't think you could really sleep on them. And there's some other scattered results here and there. So African qualifying has just been nuts. And you would think if we went to, like, say, for example, CONMEBOL in South America, they would calm down a little bit. Absolutely not. We had some banger games yesterday. We're going to open it up with Chile and Paraguay, each getting a red card, getting a 0-0 result. Venezuela and Ecuador possibly playing the most boring game I've ever seen. And Bolivia. I hyped up Bolivia in the last video. Beat Peru. So Bolivia are not in last anymore. The battle of last place goes to Bolivia. And I think this can be a possible start of a run for Bolivia. Albeit, they play Uruguay next. But we've seen some crazy things before, so I am not counting out Bolivia yet. Granted, after this window, we don't see Bolivia until like a really big competitive match till Copa America. Until the Copa America, so I mean, good result, though, for Bolivia. Very happy for them. And then the weirdness begins. Uruguay go on the road into Argentina and beat Argentina 2-0. A game where Argentina had double the shots. One more shot on target. Dominated possession. Lost 2-0. Courtesy of goals from Ronald Araujo and Darwin Núñez. So, by the way, it's the first goal Argentina has conceded in a competitive match, in a qualifier, like a major competitive match, since the World Cup. It's been that long, almost a full calendar year. So Uruguay with a big win. And then we follow that up with Colombia outshooting Brazil 23-12, almost double the shots, over, I think, 3 times the amount of shots on target. You had only 40% possession, 39% possession, and won 2-1, courtesy of a brace from Luis Diaz after going down 1-0, courtesy of a goal for Arsenal stud Gabriel Martinelli. Big worries for me in this match. Vinicius Jr., I think, left with an injury, so I'm interested to see how that comes out, what happens now for Vinicius Jr., but Luis Diaz brace gives the win, a big 3 points for Colombia, a Colombian team that is unbeaten through 5 matches, a team that also likes to draw a lot. They have the most draws in CONMEBOL. They are now in third, only 3 points behind Argentina, and a very interesting 1 point behind Uruguay. Brazil is in 5th after losing back-to-back. Losing their last 2 matches against teams like Uruguay and Colombia. Brazil now plays Argentina in a match where we will not see Vinicius Jr. In a match where we can also see Brazil drop to, and this is a big if, to 6th or 7th at the end of this calendar year. That's a very big possibility. But with how unpredictable CONMEBOL can be, it's very possible that Brazil can jump up to like 2nd eventually. But Brazil not in a very good spot. And there's also some very big matches upcoming on Tuesday. And that's the next time these teams play. just going to talk about a couple of them real quick. Of course, Brazil, Argentina. You have, we talked about Bolivia, but Venezuela, Peru, I think is also going to be a very interesting matchup. That's another one to watch out for. Ecuador and Chile. Chile getting that big draw, despite getting a red card. Chile, who are up a man for 44 minutes, struggle against Paraguay. So Paraguay, I think, are the main surprise so far, other than Uruguay and Venezuela. Paraguay, who are in 7th, I mean, they're not playing as bad as I thought they would, and I got to give them some credit. What's also very odd is that the last time Chile and Paraguay played, they also each had a red card. And if you take a look at that match, Chile won it. Both the red cards were in the 80th minute. What's nice, though, is neither of those players who got the red card in the last time got one here. So that's just an interesting note. But CONMEBOL is nuts. Just soccer is nuts. And then we're going to go over to North America for... We're just going to talk about 2 games from yesterday. We had... I don't even know what to think of this first game. The United States struggling for the first 80 minutes before eventually beating Trinidad and Tobago 3-0. You would think after winning 3-0, I would be happy. Just trying to show some form of energy here. And I'm really not. I mean, granted, we outshot Trinidad 26-1. USA had 76% possession. You would expect this to be like a 9-0. And the United States didn't score until the 82nd minute. It took the United States just under 50 minutes, around 3/4 of an hour, really, to be specific, to score and break down a 10-man Trinidad after they got the red card. It was the 82nd minute. It took over 80 minutes to score against Trinidad. I am worried. I think the U.S. is going to get absolutely... If they keep playing like this, they're going to get decimated in the Copa America. The goal here would not be drawing Brazil. And like an Argentina or a Brazil, we're done for. But right now, 8 shots on target, 0 in the first half. That worries me. As a person from the USA, a person who's watched this team very closely for the last 6+ years, I don't know what to think. I mean, this is my thoughts on this real quick. They're going to Trinidad. It's going to be like a 1-0, I think, when the U.S. goes on the road to Trinidad. In the upcoming match, which I believe is Monday. Yeah, it's Monday night in Trinidad. What you saw yesterday, if you watched the match, was how desperately the United States needs Christian Pulisic back to bring that bit of flair and energy to this team. Granted, you saw some solid performances from a Weston McKennie. Gio Reyna scored. Anthony Robinson, the Jedi, played a great match yesterday. Probably one of his best matches as a USMNT player. I'm dead serious. Because if you look on FootMob, which I really want them to sponsor me. It's never going to happen. But, just the way he played the match yesterday, he played out of his mind. A goal and an assist for Jedi, rocked a 9.0. I mean, he had 1 shot on goal the whole time, and it went in. So he was able to create a lot of plays, a lot of touches on the ball. He won a lot of defensive duels. So he played great. The midfield played much better in the second half. Florian Balogun looked great in the second half. He had an assist in this game. He assisted the goal from Gio Reyna. You saw the return of Brendan Aronson off the bench. I believe he came on for Kevin Paredes. He played okay. He didn't really do very much, but the U.S. now plays on Monday, Panama. And in the other result, as I expected, beat Costa Rica, but not the way you would think. Costa Rica, now down 3 goals, has to go to Panama and win and have to score 3 goals, at least. The big day for me, though, we had Michael Murillo, Jose Fajardo, and we had Cecilia Waterman, who torched the United States before. He grabbed the late goal to give Panama a big leg one win before heading back to Panama, a country where it's hard to play in on Monday. It's hard enough to play in Costa Rica and score 3 goals. That's very impressive for reference. But now you get to go home and defend your home turf, play as defensive as possible against a Costa Rican team that doesn't score. This is great for Panama. They're in the driver's seat. You love to see it. The matches tonight, for leg ones in the quarterfinal. By the way, a shout out to Montserrat. They're leading the Dominican Republic 1-0 right now. I just got the update through my foot mob app. But tonight's matchups, we have Canada and Jamaica, and then Mexico and Honduras. I love both of these matchups. I mean, when you're playing in Independence Park in Jamaica, it's very unpredictable. And then look where the other matches. They're in they're playing in Honduras. I just can't say this name. I've never gotten it right. I am not taking a crack at it. So, a lot up for grabs in those matches today. And then quickly, we're going to go into the craziest Euro qualifier matches from today and yesterday. And we're going to open it up with Azerbaijan with a crucial 3 points against freaking Sweden, a Swedish team that is lost right now. They're really lost. I don't know what to think about them. Sweden, who are already eliminated, Azerbaijan somehow still in the playoff chase. Good for Azerbaijan, though. You love to see something like that. Poland and Czechia. Poland will not be in Euro 2024. That is crazy. Poland. Let's break this game down. We need to break this down. Here in the Euro qualifier match, this is just insane. So we have one. How are we here? Like, it's just crazy for me to think how Poland, led by Lewandowski, they have a lot of talented players, got owned by Czechia and Albania. What? This is just so wild. I've never seen this before. By the way, shout out to Albania. They're back in the Euros. Good for them. This is their first appearance since Euro 2016, where they actually look pretty decent. So, congratulations to them. They're one of 4 teams who have qualified from this window, which, guess what? They deserve it. It's great to go out, see them go out, and make some plays. Luxembourg. We'll talk about that in a second, but yeah, a lot of chaos from today and yesterday. And this game, I think, is even more impactful. Kazakhstan, who won today, needed Slovenia to lose for a winner-take-all early next week. And Denmark saved everybody. Denmark officially qualified for the Euros and also puts Kazakhstan in a position to automatically qualify with a win in Slovenia early next week. That's insane. It's also possible, I think, for Kazakhstan to finish in 4th because Finland beat Northern Ireland, and I think Finland plays San Marino. Yeah, they play San Marino next. So, all to play for in this group. I mean, Denmark's in Belfast. That's going to be a tough one. I think Denmark's going to struggle in Belfast. But they already qualified. So, now you have a winner-take-all. I can't wait to see how this game goes. If there's one game I would tune into right now, because I don't think there's that many big matches early on Monday, that's a match I would tune into for sure. But let's go into some other teams that have qualified. By the way, Slovenia cannot advance to the playoffs. So if Slovenia loses, they are not going to the Euros. It is truly a winner take all because Kazakhstan's at least in the playoffs, but Slovenia cannot go to the playoffs due to their Nations League play. Another interesting note from this week, we officially saw Slovakia, who, by the way, were a pot 5 team when this draw happened, qualified for the freaking Euros. Good for them. I mean, Slovakia, I'm going to be dead honest here. Slovakia deserved to be here. Like, they're the best pot 5 team, ranked 43rd out of 55. I have no idea how Luxembourg was ahead of them, by the way. I think it's disrespectful. But Slovakia, who were essentially a pot 4 team, played out of their minds and qualified for the 2024 Euros. Good for them. They deserve it. 6 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses. I believe both losses. Were they at Portugal? I don't even know. But you know what? Good for them. I mean, that's one of the stories you like to see, is when a country who had all the odds against them go out and get the job done. Slovakia is going to the Euros. But there's a couple other interesting games. The Euros qualifying. Also, we saw Hungary. Shout out to Hungary, by the way. They qualified today as well. After their interesting match yesterday with Bulgaria, drawing 2-2. But yeah, all to play for tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So I think we're going to break down the Kazakhstan game again because I think it's on Tuesday, isn't it? Oh no, qualifying ends on Monday. So I thought it was Tuesday. That's the wrong league. So we'll be able to possibly break down some of these games on Monday. Next Friday, even though it's like around Thanksgiving time, I might talk about football in the beginning, break down some of the Thursday games. But then we might break down the international break right after that. So we'll see, though. I have no idea how. I don't know. I think I might just break down all the games on Monday. We'll see. We will see. But all to play for in the Euros. Now over to the NFL. We'll talk about the game from last night. From one football to another, the Ravens beat the Bengals 34-20, and I think this game may have ended the Bengals season. Let me tell you why. Joe Burrow, while on the sidelines, was trying to just, complete some passes, get his hand warmed up. He actually, I think, got to the game in a cast, like something around his hand. He has, I think, a broken bone in his hand. He's out for the season. The Bengals will now be playing with Jake Browning, a former Washington quarterback, who went 8 for 14 for 68 yards, which isn't like the worst, which is pretty awful, for the rest of the season. That's crazy. The Bengals, who I predicted to be in the Super Bowl, may not even go anymore due to how bad this injury is. Granted, they still have Jamar Chase. They still have T. Higgins, who's also injured. Joe Mixon in the backfield. They were led in receiving by Tanner Hudson. Tyler Boyd had more yards than Jamar Chase. Heck, Drew Sample had more yards than Jamar Chase. This is nuts. Absolutely nuts. Their season's over, but the Ravens are also in trouble because they lost Mark Andrews, their star tight end, also for the season. So you thought the running game was bad for how many times those running backs get injured. But now the receiving core might be in trouble, though you had a big game from Odell Beckham Jr., which finally. Zay Flowers also always involved in the passing game, but Mark Andrews. That's insane that he's out. Wild stuff. Absolutely wild stuff. I said, listen, the Ravens might be screwed now, too, because who's he going to throw to? Granted, we could see the emergence, all right, of tight end Isaiah Likely, but he still has some great weapons with Odell, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman. He has weapons to use. Can the Ravens use them right in order to try and get themselves back, stay in the playoff race? But now you've seen this division come, which had everyone in the playoffs earlier in this week, are now, 3 of them are now in trouble. The Browns without Deshaun Watson. The Bengals without Joe Burrow. The Ravens losing another key piece on offense. I like the Ravens defense, though. I think they're going to be the only guarantee out of the 3 to make the playoffs now. Same with possibly with the Browns. But this opens the door for the Pittsburgh Steelers. A team that led by a Matt Canada-led offense can still make the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. That's insane to think. Absolute carnage last night. What games are there to watch this week, though? We're going to open it up with the 1 o'clock session. Of course, we have Dorian Thompson-Robinson and the Cleveland Browns against the Pittsburgh Steelers, a major divisional matchup that could really alter both teams this season. Let me tell you why. The Steelers, I mean, I feel like they're riding high. Granted, they just lost, but they've won 3 of 5. Really, 5 of 7. If you really want to put it away, they've won. I can't count, chat, because they beat the Packers, they beat the Titans, they lost to the Jags, they beat the Rams, they beat the Ravens, got embarrassed by the Texans, beat the Raiders, and then beat the Browns the first time. The Steelers have won 6 of 8. They are riding high. After their week 1 loss to the Niners, they've won 6 of 8 since. Can the Steelers keep that momentum coming off that win against Green Bay on the road in Cleveland? It's going to be a tall ask. The Browns defense is very good, but I'm interested to see how Dorian Thompson-Robinson plays. That's going to be the big key for me. What will DTR look like? Because remember, they're without Nick Chubb. If Nick Chubb was in this game, I would have said the Browns win, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be like a 3-point game or so. Steelers in a very interesting point of their season at that. After this, they play the Joe Burrow-less Cincinnati Bengals and then play the Cardinals and the Patriots. It's very possible after that, in a month from today, the Steelers, a month and change, the Steelers can be 10-3. I think it's possible. What do I actually think the record's going to be? I think they're going to, it's very possible they could be 9-4. It's all going to depend on how the backup quarterbacks look. Because they're essentially playing 3 backup quarterbacks in their next 3 games. So I think the Steelers, who I think are going to get decimated in the playoffs by anyone, granted they have TJ Watt, they have some decent secondary players, they just don't have the offense to keep it up with anybody. I think the Browns are going to make the Steelers struggle, but it's possible that the Steelers can be 9-4 or even 10-3 in a month from today. Other games to watch out for. I like the Texans against the Cardinals. Packers-Chargers intrigues me. I mean, the Chargers don't look very good on the road. I mean, they did their last road game, I think, was the win against the Jets. Unless they played on the road last week. And they didn't. So the Chargers on the road, I'm intrigued by this. I think Jordan Love could possibly have a bounce back, but give me the Chargers. And we immediately, also we have Dolphins Raiders, but that game actually I think could be possibly intriguing, but I'm interested to see how they look. The 4 o'clock session is where it's at, and they have 3 amazing matchups. You open it up with the Buccaneers, who are trying to stay in the NFC South race, an NFC South that has been shambolic recently after the fall of the Atlanta Falcons again. The Bucs, who won last time out, are only 1 game behind the Saints. They are playing the Niners. If the Niners lose, the Seahawks, who are playing the Rams, have a very decent chance to be leading the division at the end of this week. It's a shot. I do think the Niners win at home. I like the Rams to possibly beat the Seahawks, especially since it's in LA at SoFi. But I think In all reality, the Niners and Seahawks will both probably win and really space themselves from the Rams, as well as I'm forgetting a team, as well as the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals, by the way, I think they could possibly upset the Texans, but I don't think it's going to happen. They're going to need Kyler Murray to play out of his mind again. Following that, after those two, we have the New York Jets, who have been in a dire strait as well. They're in a very dire situation. They are playing the Bills. I think the Bills are going to win this. And this is not going to be, I don't know, this just feels like a rebound game for Buffalo. Give me 24-7. I think the Jets are going to score early on, but the Buffalo defense, especially their pass rush on the road for the Jets, the pass rush against the opposition is like much better. They've always looked good against a depleted Jets offensive line and a not fully healthy Garrett Wilson, who's playing for some reason, not fully healthy. I don't like that, but listen, it's a must-win game for both of them. If you take a look at the AFC, the Jets are falling away. They have lost back-to-back and on the brink of losing. Both of these teams are on the brink of losing 3 in a row. Both teams in a bad situation. The Bills, who are 4-2 at home, are in. Sorry, guys. Apologies for that. It's been a very tiring last week or so for me, but like I said, the Bills 4-2 at home. I'm going to probably say it's going to go to the Buffalo Bills. To conclude Sunday, we have the Broncos and the Vikings. I hyped up I hyped up the Vikings into the stands yesterday. I was saying how I was praising Josh Dobbs and the way the Vikings have been able to rebound since this Kirk Cousins injury. So I'm going to say the Minnesota Vikings win this one. Broncos are going to make it really tough. Both of these teams, they could really possibly make a late season playoff push, but I'm going to go with the team that's in better form, giving the Minnesota Vikings. Chiefs, Eagles, I'm leaving for Monday's show. I'm leaving that to Monday's show. So the Kelsey Bowl will be broken down for all you. If there's any Swifties in the who watch this channel, I will break it down on Monday. Don't worry, that's one of my main focuses on Monday. Our final topic today is F1, and we are in Las Vegas, baby. Vegas has started off terribly. And I think that's an understatement. How so? You start this off with I think it was like a cover. What the heck is it called, chat? Hold on. I see the search. I just want to get the terminology right. He had a drain cover. That's what it's called. So Carlos Sainz driving down the main big straight, hit a drain cover off of the ground and essentially stopped. That was the end of FP1. Right when that happened, there was damage to the car. And then Carlos Sainz's luck continued with him getting a 10-place grid penalty, which you cannot justify. Like, I really think, and I was texting one of my friends this, F1 wants Max Verstappen to win so bad. It's very, very frustrating. Who wants to see a repeat of everything over and over and over again? We've seen that in F1 for so long, from when Hamilton killed everyone to now Verstappen killing everyone. I liked it because I was watching a video on this of how it used to be in like the 90s when like it was like a different winner every time. I felt like, or like 07 was like the last like in 2010, even years before I started watching. In 2010, I was 6. Like right when this big race started, I was like 6 years old. I don't know what was going on. There's some great competitive seasons when Rosberg won the title from Hamilton. That was a great season. I don't know if we have had since 2021. There's a couple of outliers, but usually what happens during these seasons is an F1 driver getting dominated. It's one F1 driver dominating everyone else. I don't know what to say anymore. Like I'm not watching the race this week. I am live at least. I'm watching it afterwards on Sunday morning. But this whole Vegas thing, I'm going back to Vegas now. This Vegas thing is going off to a terrible start. And they need to fix it. And they need to fix it fast. because it's going to be cold. The tires, we don't know how it's going. I'm very scared of the race start. I think that's what's going to scare me the most watching when I'm rewatching it is how the race start looks. What do you do before a race? Try to put heat in the tires, but when it's freezing in terms of F1 temperatures, it's very tough, especially in the cold and dry. It's very tough to drive in it for F1 drivers, tire-wise. What are my expectations for the race? It's very minimal. I'm expecting Max to win, but listen, when you look at the timing sheets from FP2 is where I'm really focusing on. Charles Leclerc looks great, and I think he's going to have a nice day. I'm also focusing on Fernando Alonso. And Valtteri Bottas, by the way, P5, okay. Someone wanted to show up in the States. Hamilton, P9, I don't know. I want Logan Sargent and Daniel Ricciardo to do well. My bold prediction, one of the two of them is getting in the points. I don't know who it is. Daniel or Logan or both are going to be in the points. Someone is, at minimum, going to be in the points. But my predicted top three, give me Max, give me Charles Leclerc. P3, a lot of intriguing options. I want to say Hamilton. But I'm going to take Sergio Perez, just make it really boring. By the way, Max's comments, can we talk about that for a second? And I had actually to talk about something with soccer related because I almost forgot from earlier. His comments yesterday were very interesting. And I agree with it. That this race is 99% show, 1% sport. I agree with him. I love this. Granted, Vegas is like a great place. They haven't hosted a race. By the way, I'm actually talking about this the right week this time. But they haven't hosted a race in Caesar's Palace. And that track sucked, by the way. So, like, people were dressing around like Elvis, all this other stuff going on. And they had a great intro, by the way, last time. That intro is kind of hype. But they were saying, like, the F1 makes more money if they make it or not. And it's not up to him. But I've known Max. I know Max is a very open, opinionated person, but it's not really his thing. He's saying that some people like his show. I don't like it at all, but F1 didn't respond at all to this. So I'm interested to see if, like, what the racers think at the end of this weekend. What do you think it should come back or not? I'm interested in that for sure. But like I said, give me Max and Charles and Sergio Perez. Finally, I forgot to touch on this earlier. News from today, Everton was docked 10 points in the Premier League. I think this is a terrible look on the Premier League. Let's talk about it. So, it drives me crazy how Everton, a team already struggling, gets docked 10 points. Granted, they breached the rules, but you haven't penalized, I don't know, Man City or Chelsea. Sorry if you heard noise from the mic there. Man City, Chelsea, Newcastle. You don't like to talk about the big clubs, cry about it. Because the other big three are like, what the heck? Why? Liverpool is probably laughing because they don't like Everton, but you have to feel bad for them. They're already in a bad spot, and now it just got even worse. It's a terrible look on the Premier League as a whole. I don't like it. I love watching the Prem. There's so much that they do wrong now. From referees, like from VAR not doing its job, to now this. I don't know. I just don't know anymore what to think of this league. I'm still going to support Arsenal. I'll always support them. But my views on this league have changed more, for sure. Because you want to call yourself the best league in the world? Yeah. But you can argue they're one of the biggest clown shows in the world, based on how they handle some things as well. Keep that in mind. And on that note, that will be the end of today's episode of the Robbie Basel Show. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you see, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe down below. 10 likes, and I'll do the commentary. I want to do the commentary, guys. Eventually, it's gonna happen. I'm intrigued to see what you guys think. I'm interested to see what you guys think on any of this stuff. If you think I'm wrong, make sure to hit me in the DMs and one of my Instagrams. But like I said, that'll be the end of today's episode. Hope everyone enjoys their weekend. But for now, I'm Robbie Basel saying so long. I will see you guys on Monday. Goodbye, everyone.